now, it's an obvious one, is Carlos got to today do his tweet where he said all of the players from last year finally have a home, because Mikyx, it's announced, has joined XL, replacing Advien, who obviously had only played since last split as the support player. People might remember they have a Dutch support and jungle duo with Marcoon and Advien. Now, obviously, XL have again started, they're up and down, they look good at sometimes, they look kind of shit sometimes, they lose games they should win, but then they win games they should lose. Like, they're still the same team to some degree. They've signed Mikyx, who obviously everyone knows, if you go back even just over a year, people would be saying he's like contender for greatest support ever, blah blah blah, in Europe, all the rest of it. Right, this news on the surface, right, Dom, I haven't talked about this, I wonder, are you viewing this as an upgrade? Is this a good move in your book?
I mean, I think it's an upgrade, but I think it's a weird move, and especially the way that they preface it, I really didn't like. I just thought that some of the comments were super weird, specifically the one about him being a winner, like a winning mentality. He's going to instill that on the team. Like, when I look at the old G2 team, yeah, yes, by definition, they're all winners. They all won.
Yes.
But that doesn't mean that every single player has that winning mentality. And if I wanted a player that was going to like instill a mentality into the team, I feel like Mikyx would be one of the last players that I'd want. I feel like Mikyx is super proficient, super talented, and really skilled, but I don't feel like he's going to be the guy that's going to be stepping on people's toes and be like, all right, guys, I'm here now. Put down the big dick. Like, we are now a winning team. Everything runs through me. If he doesn't like something, he's going to speak up, all that stuff. I feel like he's just going to go, like, play support. He's going to play it well. He's going to do the right things at the right time. And I think he is like technically an upgrade to Advien, but I don't necessarily think this move needed to be done. And I think the thing that was the weirdest for me is I feel like it's like a mismatch. Like, if I was going to pick a team where I wanted Mikyx to replace someone, I would think that the team would be Misfits. I feel like Misfits would be the perfect team for that.
Yes.
That could like actually elevate their standing from being a 6th place team to maybe a top 5 team. Like, maybe that's the piece that they need to actually propel that team to the next level. I don't feel like that's the move for XL. I don't think that they're going to be dramatically better. I think that he's technically an upgrade, but all the messaging around the whole season is now extremely confusing, given the fact that the first thing they said was that they wanted to have this support and this jungle and build around them for the entire year. It's like, well, I mean, what? You wanted to build around them for 2 weeks? Also, I mean, just the way it comes off is like, why did this happen 2 weeks into the season when Advien's actually been playing pretty well? I mean, he's been roaming, getting a lot of early leads. He has like pretty good stats, high kill participation for first blood. Like, he's doing what you'd want out of a support. I don't feel like he's the reason they're losing. And I don't know if a support position upgrade is really going to be that different in what comes of like the results of the team. So I don't know how to really feel about it. I mean, I guess it's technically an upgraded, but I don't particularly like the move. What do you think?
Yeah, similar in that, look, if we're just going like, I call it like football manager mode, because I don't think you have an equivalent in America, unfortunately. Basically, there's a game famously, it's been like 20 years out, and you're just the manager of a football team, and it's a bunch of names on paper. In the modern day, it plays a simulation version of the game after, essentially all you do is you're the GM of a team. There you go, that's the American sports equivalent, right? And you just put together your team, and you sign up. Basically, if you're doing that, yes, on paper, the stats for Mikyx would be slightly higher, maybe, the different qualities. Obviously, he has experience. I think you could even do some good stuff in this bot lane with Patrick. The problem I have is it's what you're saying is I'm also remembering the reasons I've been told by Excel the current team exists, and they were one of those teams that love to go with that angle of like, we're going to like develop the talent and how it's important to bring people. Like, I'm sure the whole pitch this year was like, don't judge us just by the results of last split, look at the positives, and we're going to like build on that. It's like, well, you're not, because the second you got a chance to do your upgrade, you just immediately chopped and changed that guy's out of here. Like, if he's being developed on another team now, mate, or he's just sat on your bench. By the way, that's the opposite of developing. You just play the games, you never get any actual test, you never get to show that you're good. So I'm a little bit concerned by this, because unfortunately, when I look at the Finn move to top lane, I look at Nuke coming back to mid lane, now I look at Mikyx, this doesn't look like a development project at all. Look, I would make this team in Football Manager because I'm a person who thinks that rookies are overrated. But if your whole thing is we're a development team, that's not what I'm hearing goes like this. We're a development team right up until anyone who's vaguely good's available, and then we're not a development team. Like, that's nonsense, isn't it? That's just saying I'm too broke right now to get all the players I want. So, you know what? Con this kid who couldn't join some other team. Yeah, come on, I'll develop you, mate. What's that? Fucking Mikyx is available. Get the fuck out of here. What are you doing here? You haven't even got good in 2 games. Bring in Mikyx. Like, what's that? Like, because my problem is this. It's a point actually that someone made years ago about the LEC when these teams like Mad Lions and Rogue start to succeed. They said the key thing is this. If those teams continue on this track record that they will bring people from academy or bring people from the bench, and they really will try and work you in the lineup, that will actually make you a more interesting destination for players. They might join your team now going like, if I'm actually good, I might get in these scrims. I might get in the game. I might even get like a promotion from the ERL, for example. Though that's a really valuable way for me, in my opinion, a team like XL could build themselves. But instead, as far as I can tell now, they're just a budget team trying to get the best players and win. So what's the identity of the team now? You know what I mean? Like for me, the identity of the team doesn't exist. It's just a middle of the table team with not much money, as far as I can tell.
My question would be this. All right, let's say we played a little game and tomorrow Jankos is cut from G2. He's cut from G2. He has a personal disagreement and it's not because of skill or anything. He still looks just as good as he looks now, but for some reason he's cut from G2. Would XL then just like, let's say he's cut, actually no buyout. Is XL just going to pick him up and be like, yeah, actually fuck Marcoon and Enviad? Like both
feels like it, right?
And Jankos would be better.
Yes.
Like, okay, are they just going to put those two in the game? I mean, I'm not saying I hate the move, but like, especially with the messaging, I think it's super weird. And then, yeah, I mean, back to the point. I mean, what do you think about the winner's mentality? Philosophy that they have?
Again, as you're saying,
0.
Right, first of all, I hope everyone in G2 learned this last year. I already think that like teams tend to like adapt to the vibe of the star player as it is. Think about Uzi I teams, Doinby teams, Faker teams. I already think people sort of culturally go towards the star anyway. So for my money, I mean, you saw it. The only player you changed was bloody Perks, arguably for an upgrade individually, and the team just collapsed completely. It had no identity. Every single thing you thought you knew about them, oh, they're like the geniuses in the mid game, and the way they make that, no, that was there. Then you got all the thing, oh, they never give up though. They can always, that was just gone. Oh, they always believe like it's possible to like defeat the Asian. That wasn't even existing. Like every intangible we built up. The joke was they weren't only from Perks, but without Perks there, like some sort of Magic the Gathering character with an aura effect. Without him there, it doesn't activate. And the other players, dude, even Caps is different when fucking Perks isn't there for some mad reason. In fact, at this point in his career, I certainly wonder if it, like, what at this point in time, my question is, was Caps just some sort of byproduct of playing with Hylissang or Perks? Like, when I see him without those players, he's a very different player than the one that I'm used to seeing tear the game up. So the problem I have is if I'm picking players within G2, like you're saying, like who brings the winner mind? Who brings like the Tom Brady mindset where it's like a killer instinct? It ain't fucking Mikyx. He seems like the quietest member of the team.
Yeah.
The most unassuming. By the way, as far as I can tell, his problem with Reckless is they had huge problems and didn't talk. They just sat there like, well, I can't get through this guy. But this guy's not even trying to talk to me. Shit. Like it's not like they were having arguments all the time. And no, the fact I can tell they never connected. So to me, yeah, I don't get it, mate. Like I'm not hating on him because he is a champion, like you say, and he obviously is exceptionally good mechanically at the game when he's in his prime. Really but the problem is, of all the players in G2, I'm sorry, I feel like he brings the least intangibles, you know? I even think for supports, by the way, dude, sometimes I've always had the vibe. Here's the difference for me between Mikyx and Hylissang. Because in their primes, they were 1A, 1B, and they even have a very similar style of player on the screen. The difference is this. Hylissang, as far as I can tell, comes up with all the initiative for those players. I get the vibe Mikyx follows up on players. Do you get the difference? There's a distinction to me. So I don't even feel like this adds like an extra, you know, like voice to the... I don't think it does. I think if anything, it might even have removed the voice. I'm not sure how much Advian talked, you know.
Yeah, I'm not really sure about the in the game stuff. I mean, for me, I don't think that the winner's mentality is something that many players have. Like, I don't know if I played with anyone during my career that had the winner's mentality. I think that it's a very specific thing, and there's only like a handful of players that I would feel like you can really see has those mentalities. I actually feel like Kaiser might have a little bit of that. Like when you see the way he plays, it seems like he is the progressive one that's like, no, we're gonna like find a way to win this. This is like what I want to do. Like let's fucking get it done. I feel like Hylissang has a little bit of it. Perks has a little bit of it. I think at times in NA and like season 5, season 6, I remember Bjergsen was the main driving force behind those championships. I mean, we've seen it with Doinby, we've seen it with Faker. There's people that have it, but I don't think that everyone has it, or necessarily every team that gets put together has to have somebody that has that mentality in order to succeed. So to me, I think that that's just like. It's just like, yeah, he has the experience of winning. He knows what winning feels like. And like, he could probably tell you like, oh, when I'm in a team, is this team going to succeed or is this team going to collapse and fail? Like he probably has that like intuition within him as to like what the environment of success looks like. But that to me doesn't necessarily mean that he is going to actually push them towards that. So maybe I'm reading too much into that little comment, but I think that was something that really struck me as like, do you know who you're getting? Like, Mikyx is the person, like what you should be saying is we have Patrick. Everyone says Patrick is a fucking superstar. I mean, we talked to so many players on the Crackdown. He was always the player that I feel like from outside of teams and outside of the LEC, you're just like, oh, he's pretty good. Nothing special. But people always make a point of saying no, that guy is actually insane. Like that
he's
guy
like the
is a real
player if people get it. Yeah, they always rate him highly among the pro group, right?
Yeah, he's definitely the player's player. So like the messaging I would use is like, yeah, this is going to unlock Patrick to really be like the superstar of this team. Like this is what he needs. Like Patrick has never had a top tier support. If you think about like the people that he's gone through playing, like there hasn't been one of those really like highly coveted supports that he's played with, at least at this point in his career, where he's really developed into a player. So I think that would be the advantage. Like, are you just going to be smashing people bot lane now, where before it was more about Advia and roaming and like unlocking him on the map and him and Marcoon actually figuring out what to do to get the team ahead, and then obviously the team would inevitably throw. Now the question is, can you play more through Patrick? Can you actually dominate some of these lanes and get ahead through bot? So I think that would be the biggest issue. But for me, when I just hear the way that it's messaged, I'm like, are you guys just bullshitting us just to say things that you hope fans want to hear? Because it's like, oh shit, winner's mentality. I like winning. I'm an XL fan. Like, what the fuck are you trying to like actually get out of people? Or do you just really not know who you have? Like, do you not know what Mikyx's strength is? Do you not know how to utilize him in the best way possible? That's at least my question.
For me, that was just them throwing in some extra bullshit to have another reason to give as to why they've had to recruit him. Because their implication there, which you can't argue against, is obviously he's won more than Advien, hasn't he? So the angle there is if you argue against it, it's like, well, don't you want us to have a winner in our team? It's like, that's a bit of a whack angle though, isn't it? Like,
no, exactly. I mean, I would just say, like, I made a video on somebody recently called The Worst Import of All Time. His name was Hichani. He's won more than Advien too, so maybe you just give him a go. You know, like that guy brings the winner's mentality to the team. Like...
Right, here's the thing, though. Before what I'll say is this, though. I want to just get your quick take on the actual team. Like I said, individually, maybe an upgrade, but like it sounds like you're on the same boat as me, mate. I don't think this quantitatively really changes what I think XL's going to do. Like, I don't think it wins them 4 extra games this split. Like, it maybe wins them 1 or 2. Like, I imagine they're still like probably competing for 4th or 5th.
I think they're competing for 6th with Misfits. Like my mentality, the whole split hasn't really changed. I have a top 5. Middle 2, and then a bottom 3. My bottom 3, BDS, SK, Astralis, I think that they're just not going to make it. Yes. They're just not going to make it. Top 5, Vitality, Mad Lions, Rogue, Fnatic, G2. And then I think it's XL and Misfits fighting for the 6th spot, the last playoff spot. And I still think it's just that. And I don't necessarily think that this is even a great time for it, because you just played one of your games against Misfits and lost it. So even if you become slightly better than Misfits, where the standings are right now, and you tie them 1-1, I'm not sure off the top of my head how the strengths of schedules have worked, but I don't necessarily know if you just being better than Misfits now puts you into the playoffs. Like, you still might not make it based off the schedule that you have remaining. So for me, it's like maybe you skate by a 6, but I definitely don't think you're fucking with the top 5. So I would, honestly, for me, that's why I was saying the Misfits angle could have been so much more interesting for Mickey, because, I mean, number one, he's been with Misfits before, but then also I feel like that team actually has more potential. Like, I don't think that Mikyx will compensate for all the other problems that XL has around the map. Like, I don't think that their solo laners are super top tier. They're both okay, but I don't think that they have that potential to actually beat the top teams. I know they took a game against Vitality when they had like COVID on week 1, but I'm not actually going to say, oh, XL is better than Vitality to me, even though technically they have the same score and they have the tiebreak. So, yeah, I mean, I just feel like they're the same team. They're a 6th, 7th place team. Maybe they get 6 now. That's the winner's mentality.
Want to see more cool, funny, interesting clips based on topics from my content? Well, subscribe to this channel then, or, you know, be a pleb and don't.